We're only a couple of games in, and this July international test window is already lots and lots of fun. I've just finished watching New Zealand against France from Dunedin, and these are my thoughts immediately following the full-time whistle. Let me know yours in the chat down below. There was so much chat in the build-up to this one about disrespect. I mean, admittedly, what I've got to say about that is mainly from the media. Most New Zealand fans understand the situation with French domestic rugby and were just looking forward to playing whatever French team it was. And maybe there was just a lot of media hype around this one, maybe to whip up interest in the game, to get viewers, who knows. Bottom line is, it was brilliant that we got to actually get down to watching the rugby, which did not disappoint. And congratulations to New Zealand, 31-27. Really, really fun game. And New Zealand halt a run of 3 straight victories for France. Yes, it was a weaker French team, but you can only beat what's in front of you, and that French team gave absolutely everything into that one. New Zealand got the victory and become, in doing so, the first international rugby team to reach, what was the stat? Was it 500 test wins? Yeah, the first international team to 500 test wins between 1903 and 2025. So another accolade right there. But let's talk about the game. Like I say, firstly, I just love this fixture. There's something really cool when New Zealand and France play each other. It's always a brilliant clash of styles, like individual skill levels off the charts. The Marseillaise was amazing. The haka as well. I miss TJ Paranara every time. Nothing against Cody Taylor. Just makes me miss TJ. I love the matching boots of the New Zealand team. Interesting, you can just see it in that picture there with Cam Roygaard. Interesting choice of colour. I did love it. It looks so cool when New Zealand had the matte black boots all matching on the team. It looks so good. But then again, you know, if Adidas want to be noticed, maybe go with that lime green colour as well. In fact, both kits, just nice. In fact, there was some chat that New Zealand have changed their kit. I don't recognise any difference between the last one. It's not quite as Quaker as the last one, but it's lovely. Light show before the game as well. I mean, that's one area. France are setting the bar in World Rugby in 2 areas, both of which we saw today. Number 1, they're setting the bar in terms of domestic rugby. The top 14 is serious, and we can talk about that because you saw that with some of the players that would have been completely unknown to many New Zealand fans and really showed how good they are. And secondly, the light shows. New Zealand's light show, good effort, but not as good as France's. But I tell you what, New Zealand do have. Even in they even have a stadium with a long white cloud in it. I love that. It was just hovering just above the pitch. Anyway, I also just fundamentally love eating my breakfast and having a coffee while sat watching a bunch of lads smashing tinnies in the crowds before a game. It's July has arrived. The international rugby is here. The first moment of the game set the tone, didn't it? I thought Mikel Guiar, he played at number 8 against England last week. And, I mean, it's weird. Just because he's got a number 8 on his back, he suddenly looks so much bigger. He's a lock and he's huge. But what an absolute beast. And he's played another great game at number 8. He looks like a real talent. And setting the tone for France, Guiar with a big carry, Le Garrec with a big long kick, and that was it. France carrying hard, working hard, kicking a lot in the first half. New Zealand were counter-attacking. They had 3 tries disallowed in this game. Opportunities are missed. And France absolutely defended like their lives depended on it. Tixeron, Guiar, Paul Malez when he came on. Bearing in mind, Paul Malez has been playing 2nd Division Rugby, Pro D2 this season, and he came on. He looks like an international player. Villiers, absolute menace. Massive shots going in. Turnovers. But Fisher was the man of the match for me. It will probably get given to Will Jordan because they tend to go for a home team, and Will Jordan looked really good. Should have had a hat-trick. We can come to that with the disallowed tries. But Fisher just taking names. Such a player. So, yeah. And then the first half gets underway, and we're off. And that set the tone for the game. But then the other tone that was set was New Zealand missing opportunities. I can actually see France losing by 50 points next week because of the effort they put into this one. But they go 10-0 up. And suddenly I was imagining Justin Marshall being like that meme where Homer Simpson's backing into a hedge. France are 10-0 up. Segond with a 50-metre penalty kick. Guiar scoring a try after a lovely Atasogby break down the left-hand side. Down Sevu Reese's side. And, of course, he had to go off after 1 minute in the game. So a little bit of a reshuffle with D-Mac coming into the team. And then New Zealand take the lead with, eventually, first of 3 disallowed tries, but eventually Jordan gets over. And then it's Tupou. That's an interesting talking point for New Zealand, just Tupou. I thought Holland had a really, really solid debut. Kind of for a first game of Test rugby, fair play, he did really well. Tupou, I really like him, and I almost think you have to have him in the team. But 6, I'm not 100% convinced. But hey, there's good options to have. Be interesting how Razor juggles that one over the next couple of games. Geordie Barrett with a try just before half-time. That was a big moment. New Zealand were down to 14 with Gabin Villiers. Was that early in the second half? Oh, I can't remember now. No, I think it was first half, wasn't it? Yeah, there were moments in this game where you thought France are creaking and New Zealand can take them here. And France just managed to hold into it, partly because of the disallowed tries, partly because of massive defence. But Geordie Barrett just before half-time, that felt really, really significant. And I hope you didn't go and get a brew at half-time and miss the start of the second half, because it was dynamite. It was, 21-20 half-time. 20 points. I'm so confused now. See, this is what happens when you do the videos immediately following the game. No, New Zealand had a little lead, but then France score immediately. New Zealand mess up the restart. Some basics did fail New Zealand today. Villiers gets the try after loads and loads of phases. France pull it out the back. Villiers in through a hole. Really nice try. But then Jordan scores immediately afterwards. That is in between Villiers having scored the try, getting an unbelievable turnover on his own line. And then you're thinking, right, 28-20, will France break now? Galtier, I thought, used his replacements really well, brought them on at that moment, and they didn't break. They brought it again with Van Tonder going through a hole, isolating, of all people, Ardie Savia. The spacings for New Zealand not great. Another small basic error they can improve for next week. Through goes Van Tonder, freshly on the field. Through goes Woki, freshly on the field. 28-27, it's back to a 1-point game. And again, defensive shift from France was massive. Villiers gets a yellow card. What do you think about those yellow cards? Yes, he knocked it on. I just feel sorry for the players. I understand why it's given a yellow. This is just what happens in international rugby, but it doesn't stop me feeling sorry for the players, because there's no thought involved in Villiers putting his hand up. It's just automatic. The ball gets passed. Anyway, so knock on penalty. But anyway, it goes to a yellow card. That's the way it is. Would France break? This is the moment, right? New Zealand are going to break. They're going to drop the hammer now. Billy Proctor scores, and it seems like that's actually going to happen, but the try is disallowed. And again, another one of those where in real time, you watch it 100 times, and 100 times you think, well, that's a nailed-on try. When it's slowed down frame by frame, yes, he did lose control. So right decision, but I also feel sorry for Billy Proctor on that one too, like I felt sorry for Gabin Villiers. Then Jordan has a try disallowed. Eventually, that was for Tosi obstruction. Again, the correct call. So I look back on this game, which New Zealand take a penalty to give them the 4-point cushion. France actually have an opportunity to win, and it was Taufifenua who knocks the ball on with a big defensive shot coming in from New Zealand in their own 22. So this did go right down to the wire, but I kind of don't know how. I feel like New Zealand, you play that game 10 times, New Zealand probably win by 15 points most of the times. And I can see them winning by 50 points next week because France put so much into that match. But you have to credit what France did. The scramble, the heart, the massive defensive shots. And I think one of the big learnings, and maybe it's learnings for New Zealand, fans of New Zealand rugby, maybe it's learnings for fans of players, rugby fans around the world, the top 14 is a serious competition. And for all the talk of disrespect, let's just take a moment and respect what French domestic rugby has done and is doing. Because it is, well, how many New Zealanders, South Africans, English, all nationalities are delighted that France have got a domestic league that is as good as it is because they're giving them a job where they wouldn't otherwise have one. It is the biggest domestic league in the world by a mile. It is the wealthiest, the most sustainable. They've now got 3 professional leagues. And we saw some of the guys, as I say, Paul Malez, playing second division rugby in France this season. He steps into a test arena against New Zealand in New Zealand and looks proper. France are doing something very, very right. And rather than giving them stick for that, I would actually, if I were from another country, be looking at it going, what can we learn from them? Because they've got it going on with their domestic league. From New Zealand's point of view, a little bit of a rusty performance, an early season performance. I think they're going to be a lot better next week. I think they'll be deadlier. I think they'll score more tries. They'll definitely have more accuracy. But they got the win. And with some of the performances, Holland, like I mentioned, came on, did the business. They've got a lot of good players still to come back in. They're a force. They've got their 500th victory, first country to it. They've broken the chain against France. They'll go on and I think win much more comfortably in games 2 and 3. And that will set them up for a rugby championship where all eyes are on Eden Park, September the 6th, for the visit of the world champions, which is going to be the biggest game of rugby this year. And New Zealand are off to the right start with some positives and lots to work on. Let me know your thoughts, and I will be back here with more reaction to more of the games in a little bit.